Hi, welcome again to Island Up in Sport. I'm actually on the grounds of Brownstown High School, and the man you're looking on is the coach of the Dakar Cup team, the football team, Mr. Tyrone Codner. Mr. Codner, welcome.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure being here once again.
Yeah, man. The last time we spoke, you were in preparation mode for Dakar Cup. How was the season?
Fairly good one, but there are things that could have been better. There
Mhm.
are things that could have been better.
Tell me about the first round. Don't go to the round of 32 yet. Tell me about the first round.
First round, I'd say it was fairly good. I mean, other than losing to Ocherios twice,
Mm.
which definitely I wasn't pleased with. But being the type of person that I am, I'm a straightforward person. And for this season, they were better than us, and we gave it. We just have to give it to them. We congratulated them both on both occasions. They were the better team.
They were the better team. It has proven throughout the season. They have gone to the semi-finals.
Right.
Um, but Ocherios, something happened to Ocherios during the first round. You couldn't capitalize on that. They lost some points in the boardroom. Yellow cards.
Well, in the return leg at Jacksal, the game was in the balance for the first 25 minutes or so. When we got some early chances, we didn't take them,
Hmm.
and then the first opportunity that they got, they took it, and from there, they went two up, and eventually they scored a third goal. We didn't take our chances. That game could have been drawn, or we could have won, but on the balance of play, finishing wise, they were better.
They were better.
Yeah.
Um, Coach Cardinal, we come now to the round of 32. Who were the first team you played in the round of 32?
Played against Malden High at
Ma-
Jarrett Park. Yeah.
Malden Eye, and you drew that game.
Yes.
It was 1-1.
1-1. Yeah.
Tell me about that game.
All right. So that game, the boys started off a bit nervous, being in Jarrett Park. It was the first for all of them. They started off nervous. We conceded fairly early. We got chances to equalize in the first half. We didn't. We scored early in the second half, which I told them we needed to do. And yeah, the balance of play, we should have won that game. But on the day, we accepted the point, being away from home.
It was a good point. Actually, I was carrying Malden to defeat Brownstown based on what was happening, watching the zone. You went there, you got a draw. Very good result. Who was the second game you played?
Monroe. Monroe.
Tell me about the Monroe game. That is the game I'm going to. Tell me about the Monroe game.
All right. So the Monroe game, I would have done some research. I
Yeah.
would have looked at the Monroe team, saw where they were strong, and we tried to nullify that. And on the day, we just asked the boys to be very disciplined, and just play on the counter attack. Stay behind the ball, frustrate them for as long as possible, and hit them on the counter, which was exactly what we did twice.
This game against Monroe, you were the underdog. Monroe, I had Monroe to win. The entire Jamaica, let's put it that way. The entire Jamaica had Monroe to win. You created the upset of the season. I labeled you giant killer. Then you went to the next game. Tell me about the next game, Mr. Kadna, because I'm going to something and I'm coming to something.
All right. So, if we could backtrack a little in terms of the
Yeah,
Monroe game, because
yeah.
the Monroe game, it was all about the boys playing with their hearts, because
Mm.
we were not full strength.
Mm-hmm.
When we turned up for that match, we only had 16 players present.
Okay.
There are a number of persons who were saying, we probably shouldn't even bother to play. But the boys were determined. I had a plan, and they executed on the day, and we got the job done.
Right.
In terms of the last game in the round of 30, the round of 32, that game was supposed to be a 3 o'clock match. So that was against Alphonsus Davis.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Talk me through that game. I watched that game. Yeah.
It should have been a 3 o'clock match.
Mm-hmm.
We arrived early enough. We wanted to give the boys enough time to relax
Yes.
before the match. We were told by the ISA executive that the match must start on time. So naturally, we got there and we were warming up for the match to start at 3.
Yes, yes.
Warm up ended like I think it was about 15 minutes to 3. Looked around, didn't see any official. So I decided to reach out to Mr. Scott. Tried reaching him, didn't get through to him. I reached out to my principal to try to get some feedback as to whether or not the game was still on, and if so, how soon would the officials be there? it wasn't until about 5 minutes to 4
Yeah.
that I got word that okay, the officials were on their way. So get the boys ready again.
Yeah.
Now, my boys are not the most focused, and I must say that.
Mm-hmm.
So for them to have been ready for a 3 o'clock match and then the game push, but the game started at about 4:10,
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So that impacted them psychologically because they were pumped up and ready to go. But then they got in the mood where they were thinking that the game wouldn't be played again.
Mm-hmm.
So to get them ready within a short period of time for the game, it was a challenge. And they started off slow. But the truth is, on the balance of that game, the boys just didn't do what they were told to do because Alphonsus Davis' team, they rely on set pieces
Mm-hmm.
and they treat the throw-ins as a set piece.
Okay.
Once they get a throw-in close to the 18 yard, it's like a corner kick or a free kick. And
Oh.
that was how they scored both goals. So my boys took it lightly
Oh.
and did not pay attention to the throw-ins that they got close to the 18 yard. And that was how they scored the 2 goals.
Based on set pieces.
Said,
I watched the game. I must tell you, I was you're perfectly spot on. I was there. I was watching the game, and I was saying to myself, "What if actually thought the game wasn't going to play?" To be honest, as you said, and the whole throwing up psychologically it can. But you said the boys stray a bit because you actually work them out for set pieces, and that's what catch you.
yeah, yeah.
So you think that psychologically maybe not starting on time, because you must have left Brownstone at an early time, like
Yeah, because we told ourselves that we wanted to get there at least 90 minutes before match time.
yeah.
So we got to Manchester at about 1:20 thereabout. Yeah.
Food gone, eat,
Right.
reach up, no much 3 o'clock, then have to reach wait till 9 hours so on. I must be honest with you, I was very, very disappointed. As I said, I watched the game and I do not believe Alphonsus Davis did anything to beat Brownstone. I actually, I don't want to say it, but I actually said Alphonsus Davis have a chuck playing forward. There was a big guy there playing forward, and he Brownstone to me, when you drop out at that time, the entire Jamaica was shocked. They were shocked because you are coming up, beating the big Monroe, and to drop out at there. What was it? How did you take it?
All right. Well, it was a tough one to take, but when you look at it, I think one of the major challenges that we face is that we don't have anywhere to keep the boys during competition. Because the truth is, we played Monroe Saturday. The boys, because it was during midterm, so the boys would have been at home. They were at home from the Wednesday. We had, I think we had one training session before the Monroe game. They went back home the Saturday night after the game. I did not see them again until they came to school the Wednesday, which was the match day. So that in itself would have hampered preparation. And I mean, you had no control over whether or not the boys were tired, whether or not some of them might have gone out. You don't know because you don't have them under your control.
Under your control.
Home. So that is something that we need to fix if we really want to make a real push. Keeping the boys together during competition.
Mr. Codner, you have seen what O3I have done. You must want to go for something. What is ignorance? What is there that may want to stop you? No. I went to Frankfurt High School and I'm jealous of what O3I have done. You are in the zone. You have seen it. What is stopping Brownstone to go over? Because beating Monroe is a big feat. I keep saying that. You created the upset of the season. What is stopping you to go over that to go to the round of 16 and at least the round of 8?
Well, it's simple, you have to think about preparation. And of course, after you get the boys to a level of fitness, it must be maintained. So again, keeping them in a camp is the ideal thing. It's challenging to have youngsters in this time where they have so many distractions, traveling from home during competition. It's hard to deal with. And then remember, we're a shift school. So all those factors have to be taken into consideration. The truth is, if we can keep them together where they are more focused, you can control how they eat, you can control what time they go to bed, and you can ensure that they're not consuming anything that they should. Not saying they are doing so, but we can't know unless we have them under our control.
You have them control. So what you're saying is, like other school, like a dormitory, to let them stay on dorm during this time of the
Yeah,
Dakar
it's
stuff.
important. It's important. The other thing too is to have them playing football right throughout or as far as long as possible, because what tends to happen most of the times, other than the few boys who last year are encouraged to join some major league teams, most of them tend to not play back any football until the cup
League of
preparation
time.
start. So that is something we are looking to do. We want to have them playing in competition, hoping to get them in the D1. Hopefully, admin will buy into it and support it so we can get that done. But if that is not done, I'm still planning means and ways to get them to play
As a
as much.
team,
Yeah, want to have them playing as a team.
that would be good. That's what most of the teams are actually doing now. How many boys they lose? How many boys they retain for next season?
Well, that is always a tough question, you know. I mean, in terms of those who are
You don't know if
ineligible,
coming back.
in terms of age, I mean, I know for sure that 5 of them, in terms of their age, they would have played the last season.
Mm.
All the others are eligible. But you know how it goes. These boys, some of them want to leave school early. We have players who have 3 more seasons, but we don't even know if they'll play another one. So we just have to wait and see. Come January, I'll sit with them again and see if we can put some plans in place. But if all things go well, then we should have a fairly decent team for next year, because we're losing 5 starting players. But it's not like we can't replace them. We can, because we have some youngsters who are coming up, and they would have some of them would have played their first full season. So we know that next year they'll be more experienced and they'll be raring to go.
The sentence zone, not the toughest of the toughest. You were there, Uchi, almost guaranteed to go through two leave in the zone. Firm court is kind of here and there. How do you see the zone?
Well, the zone is not bad enough. What is really happening is that you have a Butnat, Ferncourt, and Marcus. They had Yarcastle as well. They had young teams. So if we should look at that, and if they keep those boys together, the next year the zone should be somewhat more competitive. But overall, it's not a bad zone. But again, most of the schools face similar issues that I am facing. The boys not being on camp, and it shows. The further you go into the competition, the teams who are on residential camp, you can see the difference with how they play, because they can get to train. The boys can train sometimes twice per day,
Morning and evening.
right?
Mm-hmm.
For
Yeah.
us, we don't have that, so
Yeah.
it's a challenge.
All right. So I term Brownstone this year as the giant killer. Others follow through and say Brownstone is the giant killer because of that manual game. I should have asked you this. How was your preparation going into the season?
Ah, it was fairly good. We didn't have all the boys we wanted on camp, but we did what we could with those who were here. In terms of practice games, we tried to strike a balance, in terms of home and away games, because we know how the season normally go. You have to travel and you play at home. It was a fairly good season. We played some good teams. We played Cornwall College. We played Port Antonio. We would have played Bellier. So, we tried to get a good balance in terms of the quality of the oppositions that we played against. It wasn't bad. Unfortunately, though, we ended camp a bit earlier than we wanted to, because the numbers were reduced significantly, and it wasn't paying off to be spending and keeping the boys on camp when the numbers had fallen. So we started out the season slow. That was one of the main reasons why our first game was so poor. But as the season developed, we saw consistency, because we would have in the group stages we would have conceded only 3 times that we conceded goals.
How is your youth programs, your U14? Do you play U14, your
Well, we
U16?
play U14, we play U16. The U14 program, to be brutally honest, I am concerned about that. It's been a while since we've gotten out of the group. 2019 was the last time, to be exact. I mean, I wasn't in charge of the program then, but since I've been in charge, we haven't gotten out. And that is something I am looking to revamp. We need to look at how we prepare them, so we can, because that is important. If the grassroots is not good, then we are going to struggle. The under 16 team, fairly good team, but was inexperienced. The first 2 games we lost them, and I don't really want to get too deep into it, but the truth is that ISA need to look into how this competition is run, because you need to have officials and proper officials for the games. we lost our first 2 games in the under 16, and that was down to poor officiating or the lack thereof. From there on, we didn't lose any more games, but by then we ended up falling short by a point. And so overall, the under
Oh,
16 team wasn't bad, but we still have work to do.
you miss it by a point.
Right.
Because the youths are very important going into the Dakar Cup.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, so are you plan to, and this is something that I pick up, the dormitory. Or you plan to get rid of this problem so that Brownstone can, when you leave the zone, you can go further. And maybe I repeating myself, but to be honest, I don't want every year Brownstone go into the round of 32 like a particular school from Trelawney, and then I have to start to target you and say, boy, you gotta go over there and drop out. So tell me.
Well, definitely we want consistency in terms of coming out of the group, but we definitely want to take it a step further.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of objective for this season, it was met, yes, but we told ourselves that once we got to the round of 32, we would assess from there, and I saw where we could have gone to the round of 16, so I was disappointed at the end. What we do in terms of dormitory, it's going to be challenging to get something full time, but we are going to have to be creative and find means and ways to keep the boys around. I'm already thinking of a way to possibly keep a few of them with me, so that we can have them here because it is important. It is especially because our boys are from all over. It's not
All
like they
over.
come from a central area.
Yeah.
They're coming from Ocherios, they're coming from Trelawney, they're coming from all over. So when you have that, you have some days even in terms of training, boys telling they need to get home by a certain time. So it's a challenge. So we need to keep them together, and I'll be definitely pushing for that for the upcoming season.
I keep on hearing people. Last time I asked you about your number 10, you told me that maybe your number 10 would be here. Just recently, as last week, I hear people saying Brownstone number 10. Do you have a number 10 that the world needs, that the schools need, the other schools need? Do you have a good number 10?
Well, maybe they are still talking about the one who's at Ocherios who sat out the season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because he sat out the season. The truth is that that would have been something that would have gone against us as well.
Mm-hmm.
And many persons might not know this, but I'll state it for the record. Our defensive midfielder from last season played with Margaret High this season. He played in number 20, Marcelo Garden.
What you saying?
Yeah, man. So those are some of the things too that we need to fix.
Margaret,
Yeah, but that came down to the structure of the program here. So we missed a beat in keeping him for his final season. So he ended up going to Margaret to play.
And how do you hold on to players? There are schools Brownstone do not have. There are schools that offer so much other things. They take care of this, they take care of that. But how do you hold on to players? Or do Brownstone hold on to? You just have to open press?
Well, at the minute, that is it. You just have to hope that the boys stay true to you and decide to show some loyalty, which you can't force them to do. But the truth is, going forward, we'll just have to try to have one-on-one conversation with some of these boys to find out what the true needs are. And if we can assist in any way, we'll have to do that. Because sometimes what they leave for is nothing major. But for them, it's a big thing. So if we can find out what is really happening, then we can fix that problem. But yes, having not had those two players, because those players were two.
In your program?
Yeah, man. If we had those two players, we would have made a big push. But again, with what we had, we could have done better. I'm not going to hide from the fact that we should have gone through to the round of 16. But we'll assess, and we will move forward.
Yeah, move forward because that is it. Brownstone is a name school in the Costa Cup. People expect Brownstone to go through at least to the round of 16. Give me a match that was tough for you. The toughest match you may play.
This season?
Mm.
Honestly speaking, the only match I would say was really tough would be the Ocherios match.
The first Ocherios?
No, the return leg.
The return leg.
In terms of fitness, you could have seen the difference after like about the first 50 minutes of the game. You could see that the Ocherios team was much fitter than us. But that game was a challenge. But overall, the games were not tough. It's If it was matter of fact, if we were finishing, we would have done better. So even though we scored more goals than in previous season, but we still have some work to do in terms of finishing to ensure that you can kill off games and kill them off early. Overall, it was a good season. As I said, we conceded against Ocherios. We conceded one goal against Gallimore in the return leg, and one against Marcus. So those were the only times we conceded in the group stage. So the team did well. However, we need to make that step. Truth is, the statisticians are saying that this season was the best season Brownstone has ever had in D Cup. I am not 100% sure. It may be so, but I am not satisfied with that. Even if it was the best, there's still much more that we can and should be doing at this level.
You have anything what you want to say to the Brownstone community overall?
Well,
The support that you get?
the truth is, what we need is for persons to come on board like from now. Give support in whatever way they can, and not just wait until the season starts. And just watching from a distance is not good enough. If persons can come on board and do whatever they can, whether it be to lend support in terms of even just motivating players, if it is a case where they can contribute a football, shoes, whatever it is, because the truth is, normally during preseason, most of our boys playing barefooted or sometimes are old sneakers. Every preseason, I give away like 3 pair of shoes.
So you want the community, old boys, everyone,
we definitely need that
all
support.
them are to come on board to the program.
If we get that, I can guarantee that the team will do much better if we get some outside support.
Get some outside support. I tell you, I'm at Brownstone High. I'm on my stamping ground. Okay, I'm from Fenton. I'm the one who ball out Brownstone High on the channel, you know. Brownstone, yes. Brownstone was the giant killer for the Doncaster Cup season. They've killed Monroe. Monroe is my team also, but life is like that. As I said, I'm here. Island Up in Sport. We are doing this. We went to Monroe. We went to Denby. We went to Ocherios I. Right around. We're going across, talking to the coaches. On the screen is Tyrone Codner, the man who is responsible for the D Cup program here at Brownstone I. Mr. Codner, I charge you, sir, that next year we'll see in the round of 16. At least the round of 16.
I am up for the challenge, The thing about it is that we have to firstly get things right in-house, because we have to get that right first.
Get things right in-house.
Yeah.
I'm going to shout out your principal, and I'm going to call his name on the camera now, but I'm going to talk to him privately. The dormitory, you keep on saying that. You must can work on it at least from round of 32, if even that.
Yeah, even there, yeah.
If
or once we realize that we are going to advance. Maybe like a week or so before.
Keeping the boys together, very, very important.
Yeah.
As I said, thank you, Mr. Codner. Thank you, man. Thank you for coming through.
It's a pleasure, man. I will continue to tune into the channel and watch it grow,
Yeah, man.
We're encouraging others to subscribe,
Thank you very much, friend from day one. All the best. Take care. As I said, remember to like, share, subscribe. Island Up in Sport. You will see us somewhere else, another school. Because we don't only talk football, we also come and interact. Take care.